Today is Monday, June the 8th, and if you notice some disappointment in my voice, this market is very hard to read and very hard to understand. Hedge fund managers are saying that they've missed it. All sorts of comments about it's the most hated bull market ever because people are not fully invested. It's the robots that are trading. The volume is good today, better than Friday. Let's look at the Mcclellan Oscillator because that's what we look at the most often. We've just recorded another high today. So that is our 1, 2, 3, 4th day in a row of climbing over the previous high. 3 days in a row over the previous high. We're on our way to touching a Mcclellan Oscillator level that we've only seen once before back in the beginning of 2019, which signaled the beginning of this run here. And then the Mcclellan Oscillator started to taper off. It means that it wasn't as wildly fluctuating as we see in normal times. This is the normal overbought and the normal oversold. There are not many times that we go over the overbought area. Back here in 2016 we did, and we remained above that area for quite some time, not getting down to the 200 for probably, several months or a whole quarter. And then when we had this little run up here, there was no high Mcclellan Oscillator readings. When we had this big run up here, no high Mcclellan Oscillator readings. Now all of a sudden, starting in 2019, we have some strange events going on. It has to pull back. The Mcclellan Oscillator will pull back, but it doesn't mean that the market will pull back. As you see all of these pullbacks here, and the market continued to grind higher, even beyond the point when the Mcclellan Oscillator was high. So let's take a look now at the Summation Index. What does the Summation Index tell us? Well, the Summation Index registers its highest levels when the market, of course, is moving up. So we see these high levels here, and they preceded this bull run right in here. If we look at these high readings here of the Summation Index, they preceded this run in here. And similarly, we've got this, we've got these little bull runs. Now, we've got our Mcclellan Oscillator, our Summation Index, starting to reach levels of over 3,000, which we are getting near to, let's look at the right scale here. Yeah, getting over levels of 4,000 on the Summation Index. We're just a tad shy. We should be hitting it tomorrow because we're at 38.69 right now. It just tells us that the market is really strong. Let's look at the volume. And when I say very strong, it's going higher, but it doesn't mean that there won't be a sharp little pullback. But if we do have a pullback, it probably won't be too serious. Look at the volume today. There was hardly any selling going on in the declining stocks. Everything was in favor of up volume. A little bit less than Friday, but again, we've had 2 days in a row now of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We haven't seen in 9 weeks this kind of volume. So that's particularly bullish. Let's look at the charts. And there we are. There we are right here. Let's look at the charts. The Dow Jones, which was our lagger, has shot above the 200 now, big gap, and then up again today, Friday and today, We're now above the 78.6, which says that the only thing we're likely to do is come back and test the 78.6 and go back to our previous high. The NASDAQ is already registering new highs, and the SPX is approaching its all-time high, but it's hitting this important gap here at 32.59, and we closed at 32.32. So watch tomorrow at 32.59. That would be a 25-point increase over where we are today, but look for resistance there at the gap. But just generally, everything is pretty bullish. Apple started off very weak today, but then found its support at this 100% fib line, which was its previous high, which it surpassed on Friday, came down to test that, and then moved higher in the afternoon. Caterpillar is just going crazy. There's no reason why it should be. There's no indication that any major infrastructure programs are going on, or construction, or new airports being built. So where the Caterpillar business is going to come from, I don't know. Home Depot continuing to make new highs, now over 250, 256. Nvidia is just channeling. Gold, nobody's interested in gold anymore. AT&T continues to move higher, and the banks all had 2%, for the most part, had 2% days. Again, very positive, and the Fed indicated that it's going to start making small and medium-sized loans. That's just more money pumping into the market. I think that announcement was made some point in the late afternoon, and that accounts for this little pop right here. So our Mcclellan Oscillator tells us that we're high. We're in nosebleed territory. We've been this high only one day before, and that was earlier this year. But if we go back to our chart and let's see if we've had anything higher than this here in 2019, here in 2016, and here in 2015. So it's a rare event. We had these high levels before coronavirus drop. Sorry, we didn't. This was after the coronavirus drop. So this was in our recovery. This is the beginning of our recovery. And it's just been wild Mcclellan Oscillator readings. Just hang on. I said on Friday that I may liquidate everything today. Well, I didn't. My short calls are so deep in the money now that I could take a 5 to 8% pullback, and it wouldn't make any difference to me between now and the end of August. So I'm going to stay in it, and now I'm basically burning off theta and reducing the losses in my short calls and balancing out with the high price of the stock volume. So I still have probably 4% more to go, but it's all going to come out of theta, and I'm 100% invested.